The more and more we get into Ruben Amorim as Manchester United's head coach, the more and more optimism there is around the Manchester United fan base that Ruben Amorim is the man that is going to make that big change, and we will see different personnel in Manchester United shirts on that pitch making a difference for this football club. We're going to talk about what Ruben Amorim is going to do tonight, which is going to convince a lot of the fan base that this is going to be different this time. We're also going to be talking about what we touched on yesterday regarding ticket prices and some startling figures that have come out around Manchester United's latest financial score. Seriously, it's overwhelming. It's ridiculous. And yeah, we're going to get into all of that. And pretty much, well, I think that's going to tell us exactly why Manchester United are punishing the fans even more. It's ridiculous. We're going to get into it. We're going to go through all of them figures. We'll get your opinions on it. We are live. This is Forever United TV. Welcome along to the show, everybody. Hope you are doing well. Hope you are having a, decent morning. It's still early here in England, but if you are across the world, let us know in the chat where you're watching from as well. Get your comments in. I want to know what your starting lineups would be ideally for this game. Now, we have to take this game seriously because of reasons we've explained before, the situation in the league table with the Europa League, so on and so forth, but Bodo Glimt are a decent side. Ruben Amrim talked yesterday about how they are more energetic and dangerous down the wings and how Manchester United have to counteract that. We are going to see changes tonight. As you can see across the headline at the bottom of your screen right there, Manchester United expecting to start with Ruben Amorim's Ruben Amorim's team is expected to have Mason Mount and Lisandro Martinez back in it. Now, Lisandro Martinez, I don't think anyone's really going to be sort of convinced of big change, as in this is a big decision and a big change at United. Now Ruben's here. He was our best defender and he's always going to be in the team. So let's put Lisandro Martinez aside and let's look at Mason Mount, for instance. Mason Mount, I feel, is going to be that player if he stays fit, obviously. So let's just move fitness aside for the time being with Mason Mount, and let's just look at what Ruben Amorim can do with this so-called new rotation system that's in play, which he alluded to yesterday in his press conference about players playing games and then rotating to a week where they'll be training and not playing games. This is how he is going to get his philosophy and his style across to this team. So don't expect players to be playing week in, week out, I think is what we can sort of take from that. Bruno Fernandes was in the press conference yesterday, and everybody automatically assumes that because a player is next to the manager in a press conference, he is definitely going to be playing. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Bruno plays tonight in the game against Bodo Glimt, but I'm thinking right now Ruben Amorim is looking at Bruno Fernandes and going, Sunday, I think we need Bruno Fernandes. I feel like he wants to play Bruno Fernandes in them games at the weekend. I think in the Premier League, I think he understands what's going on. I think tonight is the perfect opportunity to see someone else in that role, and that is Mason Mount. Mason Mount definitely, if he is fit, can see... And you can see exactly how he would fit into a Ruben Amorim system. Everybody's talked about his energy. Everybody's talked about his work rate, how quickly he presses, his control on the ball, in tight situations, being able to pick that pass. Not so much a gun-ho sort of Hail Mary, world-beating pass 70 yards across the pitch type of player that a lot of people put Bruno as. I feel like Mason Mount is that player that is going to be the difference for Ruben Amorim if he stays fit. Obviously, again, I keep saying that because that always comes into the question and into the equation, with Mason Mount and his whole time at Manchester United so far. But if we can use this rotation system and we're not relying solely on Mason Mount every single game, 2 times a week, we are going to rotate, then Mason Mount, I think, can play a part. I think this whole training and playing setup and rotation system that he's got might actually get more out of players like Mason Mount. I think what Ruben Amorim is saying is he cannot play these players week in, week out, every single week. He cannot do it. They have to be rotated. And training these players the way he is doing, he's getting everybody on board thinking, right, you're training today because you're probably playing at weekend. Remember when Sir Alex Ferguson had players playing in certain games and he had games earmarked for them to play in? And Gary Neville talked about this a lot. He'd be gutted that he wasn't playing in a game, but then Sir Alex would explain that we need you for this game. You're perfect for this game. Every player wants to play every single game, no matter what level it is. It's all the same. It's embedded in us all. We're gutted when we're not playing, and it's probably the same at international and club level at the highest level, basically, I would say. And, well, I would expect it to be anyway, but still, when you're looking at what Manchester United are dealing with right now and how he is trying to get this system in play and get everybody on board with it, I feel like tonight we're going to see players like Luke Shaw, Mason Mount, Lisandro Martinez coming to the side. Ones that didn't start at weekend. I fully expect to see at least 6 or 7 changes from the starting lineup, and they are quite straightforward as well. Obviously, Rasmus Højlund should come in for Marcus Rashford. I feel like Mason Mount will come in for either Bruno Fernandes or Garnacho. If he wants to play Bruno, I do feel like Mason Mount will probably come in for Garnacho. I think we're going to see Manuel Ugarte start in midfield. Maybe Kobbie Mainoo starts in midfield as well. And then you're looking at the back, Lisandro Martinez. You've got lots of options. I reckon at least 6 or 7 changes from that starting lineup there. Mason Mount being pivotal to that, as in what he thinks or what he feels he's got within this squad that can implement what he wants. And I think Mason Mount definitely deserves his shout. I think Kobbie Mainoo, I think now he's back training, I feel he was going to get his shout. Obviously, Manuel Ugarte. There is a serious chance that United could be fielding their best side that they have got tonight in this game. And I'm not saying that in any sort of disrespect or slant on any other players, but for a Ruben Amorim system, let's just think about this right now. And this is how Ruben's style will be proven, I feel. When you look at the players that we've got coming in tonight, we know we're going to be building a team around Kobbie Mainoo. I think that's what's going to happen. I think Kobbie Mainoo is going to be key. Maybe, I don't know, honestly, I feel Kobbie Mainoo is going to move further into the forward positions, personally. We'll see about this anyway, because it is supposedly rotational and different at different phases of the game. So let's take what Ruben Amorim said yesterday. Forget about the formation. It has to adapt throughout the game into 2 or 3 different formations throughout. Let's look at the players. Let's look at who we feel and who has got the characteristics to implement what Ruben Amorim wants. After watching Sporting and watching how they play, the intensity, how the wing-backs work, I think it's quite straightforward that we have got Ahmad on that right-hand side. He's really happy with him and how he adapted to the role. I think Mazraoui will suit the left-hand side one just as good. I think he is the out-and-out professional and Manchester United's best player. I think everyone agrees with that. In the defence, I think we'll see De Ligt. I think we'll see Lisandro Martinez. I think Yoro will come into this eventually but won't play tonight. I'm pretty certain after what happened yesterday and what Ruben Amorim said and him not being in training, I don't think he's going to be playing tonight. That's just what I'm saying. But we will see him soon enough anyway. So I think Luke Shaw, I know it sounds absolutely ludicrous. It does. But I feel like Luke Shaw is going to get more opportunities in that back three for Manchester United. I just see it happening. If he's fit, he's going to play him. I think he's already said that in pre-match interviews. The interview with Gary Neville, he said it as well. I think press conferences, he's been alluding to it. So I think he is going to get a chance. Then you've got Manuel Ugarte alongside Kobbie Mainoo. I feel like them two, if you're being honest as a United fan right now, Kobbie Mainoo and Manuel Ugarte are probably your go-to midfield. I don't think anyone's disagreeing, are there? Would you put anyone else in there? Is Eriksen or Casemiro ahead of them too? When you think about it, when you think about the qualities, the energy, the athleticism, I think the younger players, and I'm not just saying because both Casemiro and Eriksen are past 30 that they cannot do this. Bruno was talking about this in the press conference yesterday. Of course they can do this, but I feel like in part they will be players that come in the rotation rather than the go-to. And when I'm talking about rotation, I think it's sort of back to front at the moment because I feel like this game probably... Well, actually, no, when you think about it, again, I'm sort of arguing with myself here. This game is massively important because with him saying that we are going to lose games, we are going to struggle in games, and I'm still clinging on that United can get top 4. I will keep on because I think there is enough quality in this team. But if he's saying that we're going to struggle to get this, it's going to take time to get this style across and understanding of what I want from these players. You have to look at the Europa League as a massive opportunity. As the one-off games here and there, what have we got now? After this game, we've got 3 more group or league phase games. 2 in, I think we've got 1 in December, then 2 in January. That's what we've got now left in Europe. I feel like them games right now, United have to be favourites to win all of them games and qualify for the knockouts. So realistically, maybe the best team is going out against the Europa League teams and opposition like it is tonight. I do believe that Rasmus is our best forward in this system. Obviously, for obvious reasons, like we did last night on Marcus Rashford and what Ruben Amorim said, if he's needing time to find himself, then Rasmus Højlund can step in and work hard for the team. Hopefully, we find that, like Ruben said yesterday, we find the system where we can start creating and finishing. So at the moment, working on the system and getting the chances, and then we'll work as a team on finishing the chances as well. He can only do so much, and that's what he said yesterday in his press conference. So Rasmus Højlund comes in, and we are looking at the best team here, I feel, tonight. I think that tonight we're going to see Manchester United's best team. Whether it's with or without Bruno Fernandes, I don't think it really matters right now. I don't. I think there are certain players that need to look at the team that's out there tonight and go, that's what I need to worry about. These are the players that I need to worry about. And you can laugh it off about Luke Shaw and things like that. I think Lenny Yoro will come and replace him anyway. So really what I'm saying is, when Lenny Yoro comes in, he is part of the best team. But if you've got Martinez and De Ligt, obviously Anana's in goal. I think Ahmad will be on the right. Mazraoui will be on the left. Yoro will come in for sure eventually. Or it could even be Johnny Evans tonight. I don't want to put a disrespect on him. Obviously, we've got Kokonki playing as well, under 18s player. He was the only under 18s player playing or training with Manchester United yesterday. The only reason that is as well, it's not like he is outstanding or he is above everybody else at under 18s level. There would have been more, but for the under 19s playing in Amsterdam against AZ Alkmaar in the qualifier for the Under-19s Champions League. So that's the only reason we didn't have more youth players in training. Plus, we have got quite a big squad right now as well. So no real need to bring any of them forward just yet. But Yoro comes in at the back with De Ligt and Martinez. I think that would have happened tonight if he was fit. And then you've got Agate and Mainu who need to play. Mason Mount needs to play. I think Mazraoui and Ahmad, I think either side. I think that makes sense. And then you've got Rasmus Højlund up front. There are one or two places there that you could maybe pick at and say, I'm not too sure about, i.e. the left-hand side as a wing-back. Is Mazraoui the right man? If we go out and buy one next summer, let's just forget about the summer. I'm going away from it there a little bit, sorry. I feel like right now with the squad that we've got, I think Mazraoui holds down the left. I can't see anyone else getting ahead of him. I think he's that good that he will hold the left wing-back position. And I'm going to come to the comments and get all of your opinions on this as we go in now through the show as well. So get your comments in on this and let me know how you feel about this team setting up and if you think it's our best team. I think Mazraoui left, Ahmad right, the three defenders that we just discussed. I think Mainu and Agate. And then you've got Mason Mount coming in. You could argue the fact that Garnacho needs to be in there. But honestly, I just look at it and go, I feel like this is probably as strong a team as he's going to have. And this is probably his strongest team tonight, barring maybe a couple of players in certain positions. You could argue Bruno's role at 10. Garnacho could come in there. And you've got Yoro fighting with either Shaw or Evans right now at the back. Other than that, we are very, very close tonight. I feel personally, and it's only my personal opinion, but do let me know, that this is as close as it gets to Manchester United's best 11. And I think Ruben Amorim will get more out of this team tonight than he did against Ipswich. You can bring in the quality of the opposition if you want, but I think we will see a more understanding. I think Mason Mount gets it. Ahmad gets it. Mazraoui gets it. You're adding Agate, who already knows it. The back three, I don't think have any issue at all in how this system works. You've got Martinez, who plays in the back three every single international for Argentina, so there's no issue at all there. I'll be said with him, and Rasmus Højlund will come in naturally and work. I think he's got a bit of learning to do. But I feel like this, stability-wise and balance-wise, is probably Manchester United's best side. The only thing I will add to that, before I come to the comment section, is I think Kobbie Mainoo may be utilised further forward eventually. I still believe he's better further forward than he is further back, as in more defensive role. But I think what we will see is, and the only argument with Kobbie Mainoo is him getting up and down the pitch. He isn't the quickest player. So I think we have to look at that as well and take that into consideration. So, yeah, I think still, though, and you tell me in the chat, and I'm going to come to the comments now, if that is Manchester United's best side. I do believe that it is right now anyway, in terms of what we can see on the pitch and who's available. I think that's Manchester United's best side. So let's just see it. Please give the video a like, everybody. We're creeping up to that 100 mark already. Make sure you have subscribed as well to be up to date with all Manchester United content. It's going to be a busy one. Obviously, we've got the road trip coming in later content-wise. Then all of the match day stuff and all of the reaction around the game as well tonight. So make sure you're tuned in later on. as well. Match day is here. Second game for Ruben Amorim. Are you confident? Let me know. I'm going to get into the comment section right now. Hopefully it works out for Mount under the new manager, because there's a good player in there. There is a good player in there, Stephen. You got Roz says we are going to be playing Tottenham a lot this season. EPL, English Cups, and Europa League should be a great test to see how this club is coming along. Hopefully we get the Tottenham that played played against Ipswich, and not the one that played against Man City and destroyed them at weekend, even though that was absolutely hilarious. But I think these two games now, like we just said, like with the ones that are coming up, Arsenal, City and Spurs all the way in a row, difficult, very difficult, and that's an understatement, I think. But realistically, I feel like tonight, like we're just saying, and this being the best team, and then Everton at weekend, a couple of wins would put us in a really good position going into that big one against Arsenal next week. Almac says, Erik ten Hag really handed Amorim a bang average squad despite spending 616 million. Dodgy midfield and no goal scorers. Loving Amorim's leadership, command of media, players, etc. Very direct and open-minded. That's true. Fuso. Tersu, I think that's how you say that, sorry. Bruno might not work. He doesn't go into tackles with the mindset to win the ball. Players go past him easily. We cannot afford that. Amorim must select based on performance rather than names. He said he's going to do that. There is no names that are going to stand out. They have to work for the team, otherwise you are out of the door. It's as simple as that. Gehan says, Mount has everything you need. Good passing, pressing, technical ability, intelligence with good vision. We really need him. Hopefully no Bruno. We need leadership on the pitch. I still think Bruno will be fine. I'm not concerned about him, really, like a lot of people are. But, I mean, we'll have to get the best out of him in a different way. And he said that and alluded to that. Any news on Harry Amass going on loan to QPR? No, there is nothing really, Stephen. It's more on a lot of teams positioning themselves right now. And nothing, according to United anyway, nothing is set until players are fully looked at by Ruben Amorim. So we've got another month and a bit up until January opening, and then we will see. We'll see if Ruben uses any of the youth players. We'll see if he taps into that market and what we've got there, and then the decision will be made in January on sales and who comes in, if possible, and who goes out. It's more than likely going to be who goes out. I'm going to tell you why in the financial side of things in a moment, because they are really damning for Manchester United's books right now. Menu, Yoro and Ahmad are my keys, says you got Roz. True. I think they're players that Ruben will be looking to and will rely on quite a lot going forward. It's funny how some of these United channels try to seem subjective but are sure of who they like playing without even realising it. I'm not even got a clue what you're on about there. I think we've been completely open all the time. You may have been watching someone else, but yeah, I think it's obvious when players play. If they play well, we want to see more of them. The argument for Ahmad is there for everyone to see. We want to see Manuel Ugarte. Unfortunately for us, we've been living off Ten Hag world, and there was no rhythm or rhyme to any team selection under Ten Hag. So we really had no idea what was going on. We had no idea what was happening, or who might be in form, or who might be in line to start. I think we're getting an idea straight away under Ruben Amorim, who he might pick, how he might work his rotations out. He's already alluding to the training sessions and playing after certain games and not playing players or being able to train players for 2 days after playing. It's full-on recovery after games, and then we go again. We're pretty much into another game. So really, it's just light work after a game, rotation. He wants some players to train and not play. So we are getting an idea for this already with Ruben Amorim in charge of United. Morning, Adam. It's going to be a case of players having to be ready when they are called upon. The only thing I would say is that some players that need consistency by playing regular, I think they are going to get the chance. If everyone's playing at least one game a week and we are rotating properly, and some players hold down that 2 games a week, we'll find out who they are. There will be players that will be playing more than others. We know this. But with the clean slate right now and what we're talking about, it's the perfect opportunity for players to make their mark and say, I am that man, like Ahmad did. That's what we're waiting to see right now. And we're only talking about this rotation side while Ruben Amorim is starting at Manchester United. When he gets into a rhythm, I think we will see regulars and players that he knows. And like he said before, he has to figure out the players. He has to understand the players and learn what the players are like. He has to get to know the players. I think that's what's important in this. And it will change. It will keep changing. Glad you caught that too, Adam. Some past 30, some players past 30 means you've got 1 foot in the grave, yet not Bruno, who is also past 30. I hope Amorim keeps rotating till the best 11 are on the pitch. Pretty much like I just said there, Director of Football. Yeah, it is. I think he will keep changing it, and I think you will start to see more regular players play because he knows that they can do the roles that he needs them to do. They understand what he wants them to do. I think you will start seeing more regular players. I just feel at this stage now, over these next few games, I think you are going to see changes. Unfortunately for us, we're coming up into a run of really difficult games, like I said. And it's going to be difficult for Ruben Amorim because he's going to stick to his guns, but there is going to be a cry for experience in certain games. And you know what that means. That means certain players getting a little bit more game time than what they probably should. And that's the worrying thing, that because we've got big games coming, is he going to fall into that trap of playing the big names because they've got the experience and know-how? I don't think he will. I think this is where Ruben's style also comes in, and it is different. I go into the Arsenal, Spurs, City away games, and I'm thinking straight away, we're going to lose all 3 of them games. Simply because he's trying and sticking to his guns. But we are going to learn so much more from them games. And we'll still make the top 4, even after them games. Because he will stick to what he believes in. And the players will come out the other end of it. And there's plenty of time left in this season to still make a high position and finishing higher up that league table. I'm convinced of it. But I do believe, in my mindset, I'm thinking, like, we're not ready. We're not as ready as what Arsenal, Spurs and City are in them games. Them games, if we lose them games or we get a draws in them games, we don't win them games, I don't think any Manchester United fan right now could go, this is not working. This is bad. He's still early into his tenure at Manchester United. His 4th game is going to be Arsenal away. You cannot turn it around that quick. In 3 games, get your system in place to go up against a well-oiled machine like Arsenal are, and then into Spurs, who have had Ange for nearly 2 years now going. And I just feel like we have to have our expectation levels for this next month in line with what's happening. I just hope and I pray he doesn't. I don't think he will. I don't think he's going to go back to doing what Erik ten Hag did and just picking certain players because they are experienced. They've played in big games before. Maybe they could give us that moment. That's all that Ten Hag did. I just want him to stick to the players that he trusts will work in his system. Even if it is a big learning curve and they are completely outplayed on the pitch in certain parts, they need to learn this system. They need to get used to it. And I feel like he will stick to what he believes in. But I do think that it will come back result-wise and bite us on the arse a little bit. But we have to look past that, I feel. I think that's important in everything. There is no doubt that if Mount does not stay fit this season, he is finished at United. It's a key season for him. It's massive. Honestly, I think everybody, like everyone who's got an issue with Mason Mount, hasn't really got an issue with Mason Mount himself and the player. It's the injuries. It's why he was brought in the first place when we didn't need him. It's all of that. But if we do find the best out of Mason Mount now, from now until the end of the season, he stays fit, then I think every Manchester United fan will love Mason Mount. He is a good player. He's a very, very good player. We didn't need him. We didn't need to buy him. We needed a different type of midfielder. But right now and where we're at, he could be that one that takes over from Bruno. And then where are all United fans going to be? If he is the one that dislodges Bruno Fernandes and holds that position down because we've got a manager and a coach that will stick to his guns and what he believes in, then I think everyone will be loving Mason Mount. So let's see. Ginger, I agree with you on Rashford. He's no longer interested in football. It's only money for him now. He's doing Maguire money over career. Victor is the same. We don't have cash to sell. On that note, and Manchester United's financials and what is actually going on right now, it is it's quite damning. Now, we talked yesterday about prices going up for members, inevitably season tickets and general match day ticket prices going up next season as well. And when you look at the figures that have come out, Manchester United obviously released their quarterly figures yesterday. Kieran Maguire, football finance expert, has been breaking it all down on X. Manchester United published detailed accounts, and some figures not mentioned yesterday include the cost of Manchester United's squad goes through the 1 billion total mark. Manchester United's squad is 1 billion. 1 billion. Over 1 billion. 1.02 billion pounds. That is what Man United have paid to put together Manchester United's squad. Wow. Absolute wow. Obviously, some of them figures are made from market values and things like that as well. But whichever way you look at it, if you think that's exact anyway, if you think that that's exact and it's a little bit off the mark in terms of numbers, you only have to look at what Erik ten Hag spent, like 616 million. That's ridiculous. That's over $500 million. Half of this squad put together for its 1 million birth was done by Erik ten Hag, which is shameful. It really is. It's an absolute laugh. It is. The club are owed 94 million by other clubs for player sales instalments. So Manchester United in player sales are still owed 94 million. Which sounds all right, doesn't it? It's like, oh, we've actually got a chunk of change still coming in. Good business by United. But then Manchester United and what they owe other clubs, that figure comes in. Manchester United owe over 413 million in instalments for player purchases. So the instalment process, which goes on, which everybody buys players with, paid over 2 or 3 years in instalments for certain players. Manchester United owe 413 million. Wow, that 94 million and what we are actually owed kind of falls into insignificance when you look at that figure. And again, that's poor management and poor running of the football club. No wonder Ineos have come in and gone, Jesus Christ, we better up something here. Cutting corners, cutting costs, everything that's happening right now. And obviously, it's because Manchester United have just overspent, overindulged, and not run the football club properly for a decade. And it's accumulated a total borrowing of £714 million. Oh my God! Only Manchester United could get away with this with revenues and what we bring in. How the hell are we going to counteract that much money leaving the football club? That is staggering, is it not? 418 million still owed for players, 714 million borrowed. This is the revolving credit facility as well that we've got. Like I said, I'm slagging Ineos off yesterday, criticising them for what they're doing. It's simply because we have got ourselves in this state. The fans are going to pay. Ineos have come in as a business model to run Manchester United properly. And to do that and to make brutal changes, us fans are going to suffer from this. It's an absolute joke. It really is. Honestly, it just puts everything in perspective as to where Manchester United are at and where other clubs are at. Look, I can see why people had the dream of a debt-free Manchester United under the Qatari ownership. I still feel like Ineos are going to bring Manchester United back. I do. It's going to be a long, bumpy road. They did say that there were going to be significant changes. I didn't expect the hiking prices that they gave us yesterday. And it's right that there will be a protest on Sunday. I made my point very clear yesterday about ticket prices going up to what they was. It's an absolute joke. The fans should not be the ones paying for this. They really shouldn't. It should be the players that are paying for this. They're the ones that should be docked. But we can't touch the players because of their contracts. and like Bruno said yesterday, Manchester United, realistically, cannot get rid of 15 to 20 players. They have to get rid of the manager. And when he was asked that question yesterday, that was what basically came up. That's the significance of it. And when you look at what Manchester United had to do as well, in costings for getting rid of Erik ten Hag, them figures are now official as well. It cost Manchester United £10.4 million to get rid of Erik ten Hag. and bring in Ruben Amorim cost them £11 million. So the mistake that Ineos made already in the summer, £21 million worth by not making the decision in the summer about Erik ten Hag. This could have been a lot cheaper if we'd have made the decision early doors. But changing the manager, look, Ruben Amorim didn't want to come until the end of the season, and they've acted on that, whether they had money aside for that in case this scenario came about. But changing the manager over the last month has cost Manchester United £21.4 million. Big numbers, aren't they? They're massive numbers. And when you put them all into the financial figures and you balance everything together, it's quite staggering. It's quite staggering. It really is. And you can see why they are doing what they are doing. Cutting corners and cutting costs at every single part that they can within the football club, Ineos. Bumping prices. We know prices are going to go up. How the hell this football club is going to fund a new stadium that's going to cost upwards towards $3 billion? I do not know. Something will have to change. Something will definitely have to change. Just expect prices to go through the roof. And there will be a call for value for money definitely in the near future. Right now, Manchester United are not value for money. We know they're not. It's pathetic how much Manchester United fans are paying for the quality of football that we're watching. The product, which is Manchester United, what got Manchester United where we are right now, as in the brand, the actual name, the style of football, and gave all of this opportunity to the sponsors to come in and the club to run as a business this way, has been completely forgotten about. It's like, for instance, if Coke started to taste crap or start to taste like Pepsi, then people will start to complain. Manchester United right now Manchester United used to be the best, which is why we are where we are. And what we created, the foundations, the history of this football club is why it makes so much money in the first place. The brand is the best. But the people that have run it have lined their own pockets, run Manchester United into the ground. And now, when you've got a business like Ineos coming in who want to help and actually get Manchester United back where they should, they're having to make decisions that should have been made over a decade ago. And this is why we're in the position we're in right now. I just think they should be getting the money from elsewhere. I really do. But, look, we can't touch the players. That's the sad bit about this. The fans will pay, and we're going to have to pay more to watch these overpaid players at Manchester United. The only way that this works out, and the only way that this changes, is with the big calls that have been made, the structure, Ruben Amorim, and getting rid of the players. It's as simple as that. The only way Manchester United get back to earning money and creating a balance sheet that doesn't look as drastic as what that one does is on the pitch. That is it. Fans won't be too bothered about spending a bit more money if you are competing and playing on a brand of football. Don't get me wrong, don't extortion. Don't give extortionate prices to the fans. Don't make it impossible for fans to go to football games. Let's just not go there, obviously. But if you're playing a better brand of football, more people want to go, and you won't get as much complaint from the fans. But right now, to double the prices of certain tickets, playing this same brand of football, you're going to get a kick-off from the fans. I think the whole issue with this yesterday was, and why the protest is that the club did it without even consulting the fans, and that's the problem. But the wider picture and everything, again, is it's now all down on Ineos and Ruben Amorim to make the big calls that every fan knows is needed. And that is getting rid of some of these players. It really is. Over 130 likes. Let's get them up, everybody. Can we get near 200 live likes in a live show? I'm coming to your comments right now on all of these. There's loads coming in about the financials as well. Please make sure you have subscribed as well to the channel. We've got loads of content coming up today. It is a match day, of course. Get your thoughts on the match day squad and who you would like to play as well in the chat. Stephen Maguire says 400 million still old. Oh my God, United is done for numbers off years now. Yep, please compare the market value of the players versus the amount we paid. It would be interesting reading. Almac, yeah, it would. I think that's a show for another time, mate, that one. But you are dead right. That is a great idea. Block says, can't make the game tonight, Adam. Enjoy your Madrid. I'll be watching on TV. You enjoy your Madrid out the can at home, mate, as well. The guy in charge of contracts and bids before Ineos was inept. Murto. Arnold, Woodward, Judge, all of these guys that have been fired now, you can clearly see why they've been flirted, can't you? Oh, God, this football club, honestly. Sometimes you scratch your head and you go, how? And then you say, and then you look at it and you go, right, that's probably why Ineos are doing what they're doing still, but it's not fair. It really isn't fair. Who said that Marcus Rashford warranted 350 grand a week? Who said that Casemiro should be getting his wages straight out the box? Who said that we should pay 85 million and pay 200 grand a week wages to Antony? Victor Lindelof's on 120 grand a week and he doesn't play. Add it up. Hit the players. Cut this squad. Let's cut this squad and actually save millions a year instead of making the fans pay for the misrunning and mismanagement of this football club and underperforming players. Let's just cut the players. Do you know what I mean? Like, we can't do it until the transfer window. And Ineos, to be fair to him, cut 17 players off Manchester United's wage bill in the summer. If we can get anything like that, or even half of that this summer as well, I think we're moving in the right direction. Yeah, I get that. The players who I think he can depend on are Anana, Mazraoui, De Ligt, Ahmad, Garnacho, Maino, Bruno and Rasmus. I can't see past those for consistency. Not sure on any more, says Mr. Dassi Sandero. Blame the fan base. If they did make that decision, half the fan base, including certain someone, Goldfish, he says, would have had their knives out for the new manager. Huh? Paying for Rashford's contract in more ways than one. True, very true. Paying for all these players' contracts, it's ridiculous. It wouldn't surprise me if United made the manager's position redundant, therefore having to pay Erik ten Hag less and creating a new role as a head coach. There's all sorts of ways that they're trying to balance books. Like, don't put anything past Ineos in what they're doing. That 616 counts last year, didn't it? Yes, it does. The Mazraoui, De Ligt, Agati and Euro deals will prove to be good ones in time, I reckon. Yeah, I mean, there are good signings in there. Like the whole squad. Like Manchester United, this squad, for where they are right now, are not worth what that squad value is. Like, 1 billion doesn't make sense, does it? It doesn't make sense to any United fan that this squad is worth 1 billion because of the way we're playing. But really, when you look at it, there are players in that squad that probably are. Thanks for the super chat as well, you got Roz. There are players in there that are probably worth their money, that are good players, that are going to help Manchester United going forward. I just feel like it's just inflated through the stupidity of signings that we've made over the years. And I mean, if you look at it there, you've got Maguire and Antony that count for over £150 million worth of that value. And they're players that are not first-team players. That tells you everything you need to know about Manchester United. The squad value, officially on the market, is 1.02 billion. 150 million of that is Antony and Maguire. If you start adding up the value of these players and putting them together, I bet you at least a third of that squad valuation are players that would never get into the starting lineup if you ask the fan base. I guarantee it. You only have to look at what? Right there, you've got Lindelof, 40 million. Right there, for instance, just off the top of my head there, £1 billion worth is what Manchester United's squad is. Over 200 million of that is Antony, Maguire and Lindelof. You're nearly at a quarter of that value in 3 players that we all want out of the door this summer. Let that sink in. That right there is why Manchester United are in the financial position we are in. Overpaying with people running this football club that had no idea what they were doing, with no experience in their areas or in that department, and have just run this club into the ground. That's the embarrassing part for Manchester United, and that's what Ineos are having to take on the chin, and now the fans are getting blamed for it. We are, because we're the ones that are paying for it. It's a joke. It really is. And this is Manchester United, supposedly the biggest football club in the world. Yet we're 13th in the league. And we are looking to claw our way back up that Europa League table. It's about time that this squad, and like I said before, started showing their worth, or a bit of what they are worth, and getting us right back up that table and making this look a little bit more respectable is what I say. But yes, please do get your comments in as well when the video finishes, everybody, off its live. I want to know about Mason Mount. If you feel like he is the key to the Amorim system, is he going to be the player that makes the change, that makes the difference at Manchester United? Talk to me about them financials as well. How much is United's squad really worth compared to what it is officially worth? Over $1 billion. Thank you for watching, everybody. Thanks for the super chat. Mods and members in the chat. Everyone's comments today has been bang on the money. Thank you so much. Give the video a like on the way out. Make sure you have subscribed and checked out the content that's up on the screen right now if you're watching later. And I'll see you later on through the day. It's match